For the Biennale of Sydney, I'm making a sandstone sculpture called Ruins, which is a kind of a sculptural interpretation of a fragment of a past civilization, which may or may not have existed in that site, but which refers to the existing built form. I'm working with sandstone specifically because the site that I was invited to respond to sits in the void of what was a sandstone hill which cascaded down and formed the old coastline of the island. That's now being cut away, and this area is concreted and manufactured. The contemporary urban environment is dominated by modernism's view, and it's constructed from drawings that are projected, elevated. And although this project relates very closely to architecture and admires architecture very much, it's an important distinction that it's not built in an architectural way. When people reorganise natural materials in natural environments to create shelters or dwellings or any kind of inhabitation, protection, process decides form. At a certain point in history, that started to change. We started to decide these things based on straight lines and grids and engineering and certain kind of standards. And that makes a very big impact on what our footprint in the future will look like. Ruins is made as a craftsman, as an inhabitor of space, as somebody intervening with natural materials in a very sort of tangible, manual way, not in kind of a grand design kind of way. And I think that there's a lot of creative potential in that through process you actually decide and divine forms which are often unimaginable when you've got a pen. I would say that I've shaped it rather than designed it, in the sense that I had very strict material limitations. That said, there's a part of the design which is quite clear, and that is how do I make a built form that relates to the body in a way like architecture does, that gives you an interior and exterior feeling in the most minimal possible way. That was a key motivation, both to address the material limitation or to capture the creative potential of those limitations, and also to give people the physical experience that was necessary to feel immersed in a fragment. I would like very much for people to question whether or not ruins is art or artifice, whether it's construction or reconstruction, generation or decay. I think there's a beautiful kind of palindrome between creating something which is decayed from scratch without it having ever been complete. Formally, one of the most interesting vibrations is to encounter order in natural environments. Straight line, circle, something standing up when it should be laying down. Some moment that tells you that there's life here, there's people here, there's been something here. I'm hoping that, that people can relate to that in this very sort of humble, soft sculpture, which is as simple as a few straight walls. I hope that Ruins can be a fragment which allows other people's imaginations to explore and consider what could have been, what may have been, that hopefully reflects on the contemporary condition as well as the historical.